everybody, welcome back. Movie review time, where we geek out about a movie we just saw, and we just saw Moulin Rouge. Because you said it. Okay, we saw Mulan, the new 2020 Mulan.
Yeah.
This is going to be our spoiler video. We're telling you now, we're going to give you a few seconds to walk across the room and click out, and I just gave Mary a headache. Wow, derailer. I've had a lot of wine, but this is going to be the spoiler review, so we're going to talk all kinds of spoilers. We might even start at the very end, so if you're only looking for a little bit of spoilers in the beginning, we do jump all over the place, so you want to click out now.
Yeah, it's loose association theater in here, so.
Yeah, but also, too, even if you are looking for spoilers, this is going to be more just a general discussion. We do recommend you check out our no spoiler review for our more general thoughts, because we won't go too much into that here. Mm-hmm. And also, spoilers for the original Mulan, because I was going to say, it's fine. I'm going in to compare when I see it. It's okay if you want to spoil it. I'm not a big, huge, super, Disney fan, so, you know, I mostly watch those just out of more, a sense of history and wanting to know that level of cinema. Not many of them actually really make me fall in love. Emperor's New Groove excluded. But so there might be spoilers for that as well. So by now you've had enough of time to chug that beer, juggle your baby, and flick the beans. And and so here's your final warning. Spoilers.
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 Spoilers. Spoilers on you, spoilers on your family, spoilers on your cow.
Hi, spoilers. That one's for the Garmy. All right. So, when Ewan McGregor showed up and fell in love with her, but then she had to go off with the rich man at the end. Oh, wait, no. What?
That's still Moulin Rouge.
Oh, okay. When they all turned into animals and they started calling her Mulan.
No more wine for you. No more wine. No more wine.
Give baby his baba. Yeah, I've had a little over 2/3 a bottle of wine. That's good stuff. By the way, speaking of film and cinema, you know what wine that is? Spoilers. It's a Coppola. It's Francis Ford Coppola Director's Cut Cabernet. I'm usually more of a Malbec Syrah kind of guy, and lately a Pinot guy, but I had some pasta and red sauce earlier and thought I'll do a little bit of the Cabernet. So there's the food corner.
All right.
So when the aliens...
I think we're past that at this point.
All right. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, here's the thing.
I can't believe they showed her dick.
Really?
I'm done. Last one. Okay, here's the thing. Tell me the thing.
Okay. Do you have any questions? That might be a good place to start.
Where do babies come from?
Again, I'm taking this away from you.
No, I see. I'm trying to think of the movie. You said it back up. You make me nervous holding it all over all the equipment. God, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Oh, I think one of the things you mentioned was different. Because I was thinking you might have said something that kind of spoiled it, but then you didn't. Was because you didn't know. Because you did. Then you told me, no, that was different. When she and the witch battle in the sulfur fart cave.
Yeah.
And she throws the throwing star into the chest. And it splits Wukong. No, not Wukong. Wu.
Fujin.
No, it's a Wu. It's a Wu. It's because it's Wu Mulan. Anyways, when the boy version of her dies, but her binding underneath, the extra layer of armor saves her.
Yeah.
I assume that whole sequence is different.
First of all, no witch in the first original.
Well, why don't you start there? Come on. Damn. You're actually going to tell me there are no swords in the original. I mean, it is Disney.
Swords. Now, because basically...
Really? No witch? A Disney film without a witch?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, no, it's just the actual Mongol guy.
Okay.
And they're calling them something else in here, and I keep forgetting what it is. I'm pretty sure they're called Mongols in the...
I'm pretty sure they called them Mongols in the movie, or maybe that's because we mentioned them as Mongols. I don't know. All I kept thinking of after that... I don't think
they ever actually said Mongol in the
All I kept thinking of after that was the South Park episode.
In this movie, the new one. But the villain, you don't really get a whole lot of the villain. It's mostly he's in the background doing stuff, and there are battles mostly towards the end. But I don't remember there being a whole lot of him.
Still kind of the same plot where it's an evil army going to overthrow the emperor and her loyalties to save him. Okay.
Yeah. So they're marauding. The emperor's raising an army to fight them.
Then why couldn't she turn into a dragon and sing a song?
Yeah, and it's not Phoenix in the original. It's Mushu, the little dragon.
I was kind of wondering about that. So I guess the Phoenix is kind of their representation. Then was kind of what I was thinking in the movie itself. I guess that's their because again, I knew going in there were no songs. I knew going in there was no dragon because everybody was losing their goddamn minds about it.
Yeah. So in the original, Mushu, the little dragon, is...
Oh, and if you haven't seen the no spoilers, if you haven't figured it out yet, I've never seen the original. So.
Right. So I'm explaining this to him basically.
Right.
Although
this shouldn't be a video about just explaining the original. This is still about what we think of the new one. But go ahead.
Well, but it's all the same thing, though.
Apparently not.
Well, no, it's how the changes affect things. So
that's fair. That's fair.
So instead of a phoenix, you have Mushu, the little wisecracking dragon,
right?
Being sent by the ancestors to protect Mulan. And you actually get to see the ancestors, too.
So does she, I guess this is just a comparison video.
She is not a thing.
So she is not a thing in the original.
No.
So Mushu is kind of the equivalent.
He gives her no powers.
Well,
he's basically moral support.
So she's just a regular fighter in this
She's
animation?
a tomboy.
So it's like so they did make up superpowers for the new movie.
Yeah. She is not a thing.
Okay. Well, this also brings up something I actually want to talk about the new movie.
Okay.
Which I was noticing from the start, and again, I think this is something that took me out of it some and makes me like it a little bit less, even though maybe not. And again, maybe it's just expectations versus what I got.
Okay.
But early on, I was noticing the music feels a little. Initially, I wanted to be like too grand or too something, and I couldn't put my finger on it, and eventually I started figuring out it feels like a Marvel superhero score, and I was thinking maybe it's just because I got Marvel on the brain playing the game and everything. Mm-hmm. But then now like the fights, and she almost seems kind of super powered, and there was almost kind of a super villain, and I think overall it had it felt like a superhero movie, like they crammed this into the shell of a superhero film, or they put a superhero film into the shell of a Mulan kind of thing.
The thing is, okay, I see where you're coming from, but to me, I interpret it as more of a, we've been watching some of the Monkey Kings and whatnot, and
that's true.
I think, to me, I think that they were maybe trying to go for more of let's take these Chinese movie fairy tale type action things and try to pull that into our story.
Yeah, and I could totally see that. And then that also plays into what we're talking about in the no spoilers with me and the Bollywood thing.
Yeah.
With that opening scene where you see them charging like this desert kingdom, and they're all getting on their top of their horses like they're about to jump over the wall or something.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, is it reminds me of that famous like ridiculous Bollywood scene of, I think it's more Roman soldiers in that, but it's in a desert going up against like a desert castle, and they all like get in catapults,
See,
and, forming with shields in a ball and fly through the air. And then they all like land and like surf down in their shields while they're beating up dudes.
Are you sure this wasn't 300?
It's like the 300. It's the Bollywood 300. But that was the point I was trying to get at, is like the Bollywood stuff, like the ridiculousness of, we don't care about physics. We just want something that looks cool. And that's what I was saying.
But you get a lot of that in the Chinese stuff too. Like again, the first Monkey King movie, those were some absolutely ridiculous fights.
That's actually why I brought this up, because I was connecting it to that. That was a good. You rang that bell in my head. That's also part of why my brain went there. It just wasn't thinking of the Monkey King movies.
Yeah.
But you're right. But again, even those Monkey King films, like those Chinese almost superhero kind of films,
yeah,
they also have a not as much as the Bollywood action films, but more of that. Not quite exactly realistic physics, but at least in the Chinese they do pay a little more attention to it feeling real compared to like the Bollywood stuff. And you can think of any Bollywood action scene and tell me like physics don't exist.
I can't think of a lot of Bollywood.
You can't think of like any of the ones with like the super cop that like steps out of his car and shoots down the villain while the car like does a 360 around him and like.
I don't think I've seen any of those.
Oh my god! Or like the Terminator guy, the Terminator.
No, the Terminator. See, I consider that to be like I've seen that, and that's the only one I've seen is clips from that.
A lot of Bollywood action is like that.
Oh.
So that's where I was. So now that's okay. So now we find the disconnect. Why you were okay. But anyways, point being, it was. Wow, that was a big old tangent. Did I knock your water bottle over?
No.
I thought I heard a thud.
No.
But that was a big old tangent. But that's where I was coming from, because they do kind of have the wall running and stuff in this, and it doesn't feel as smooth as like Hong Kong wire work. Like if you know, like you watch like Hong Kong martial arts films.
Yeah, they defy physics, but it's always in a very beautiful sort of way.
And it feels
almost.
real. Yeah, and it feels real and grounded even when it's not grounded. Whereas this felt, I almost want to say, more CGI-ish. Like it didn't feel as weighty.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a cultural thing. Like they're trying to do like we're light as the wind or something. I don't know. But again, not something I hated. Just one of those things that that was just kind of furthering into that part of the discussion we were having, but also like they're on their horses and they're jumping onto a wall and running up, and then the camera's Dutch angling rapidly at 90 degrees. And I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
But then it goes back into traditional filmmaking for the longest stretches, not in a dull way, but it's like, okay, now I'm watching a normal movie, for lack of a better term, and then there's explosions of here's that same trick again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It didn't. Some of that kind of was a little off-putting for me. That's one of the things that brings it down a little bit for me.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like I'm tearing into it, and I'm not, because I did really enjoy it. I would totally watch it again.
By the way, speaking of Mushu, cricket is an actual cricket.
Okay, that's a good question. Well, a good observation, which reminds me, like the one moment they could have had me emotionally, because that's a good point. I never really felt emotionally connected to any of the characters.
Yeah.
You know, and
you liked them, but
I liked them, but I didn't feel for them. They all felt kind of wooden, kind of one note, which again is like an early Disney cartoon.
Well, I'm sitting here going like, okay, you're clearly supposed to be that guy. You're supposed to be that guy. You're supposed to be the guy. You got demoted. Now, like the Donnie Yen character is played by a young guy, and and that's basically the love interest.
Oh wow! Okay, so she is in love with her commander in the.
Well, it's. Well, I'm not gonna say that it's more like he falls for her.
Oh. As a dude?
Well, not so much as a dude per se.
I'm not judging. I'm just confused by how the story works.
But I think after he finds out that she's a woman, it's been a minute since I've watched it.
And there must have been a lot more movie in the animated after they find out than there was in this. Because once they find out in this, there's it's like, okay, big battle and movie essentially over with some wrap up.
More or less how.
Well, then he fell in love with her quickly.
Well, I think there was definitely sort of.
Is it one of those he was kind of like?
Okay. Full disclosure, been a minute. I don't remember exactly. There was definitely a respect there. I don't think he was going like, I have weird feelings for one of my soldiers.
She has a vagina. Thank God.
But it's kind of like, the afterfight's going like, okay, I can go with that.
Okay, well that's interesting.
But okay, and I might be wrong. Been a minute.
Right? Yeah. we honestly, if we had watched this earlier, we might have just watched the original and talked about that as well. But unfortunately,
I think it's kind of better that you didn't see it first.
Okay, so I can give my thoughts between.
Yeah,
that makes sense. But then I was also going to say the one moment with the character connections, they almost had me. They could have brought me to at least a tear. Is with Cricket. At the end,
the whole
because they did for that. Oh yeah, and again, I was saying superhero stuff, and it clicked towards the end of the movie. Mary's like, it's a hallway fight, and I was like, it makes sense because this has felt like a Marvel movie the whole time. But yeah, when they come back to the resolution of the hall fight and everybody's alive, and they cut over to Cricket and he looks dead. Yeah, and I was like, oh no, and then he immediately comes to life. It's like, oh, and it's like you couldn't even like let that like it wasn't
I'm trying
funny.
To remember if
like
Cricket had a near-death experience in the original movie or not, and I cannot remember.
But to me, it was just so weird that it was so short and so abrupt. Like they clearly wanted to mess with your mind and be like, "Oh no, Cricket's dead," but they reveal he's not so quickly that you barely have time to even process the thought that, "Oh, did he die?" No, he was such a charm. I mean, but he's already back before you're halfway through that thought. Yeah. So that was kind of weird, and then but also I kind of rolled my eyes and groaned, and I'm like, oh, right. This is a Disney movie. Like the cliche Disney movie.
So I'm trying to remember how, because you do get the big fight with the Avalanche and everything. Where you having fun?
Yeah, my back is stiff.
And it's...
So the Avalanche was in?
Yeah, okay. The Avalanche. So that part kind of more or less plays out the same.
So it did also kind of wipe out her troops a little bit. Not wipe out, but
they regroup and everything, and they find out that she's a he, or he's a she.
That she's Wukong.
Would you stop saying that?
It's fun.
It's confusing.
I know. You should have shown me the Monkey King movies.
But anywho, I'm trying to figure out, because in the new version, the witch tells her that's like, oh yeah, that was just a big ass diversion. For
right.
You know,
the witch does kind of turn kind of easy too, and I was forgiving that because I assumed that was something from the original movie. So now that you revealed to me that wasn't, I actually have to downgrade it a little bit because I'm like, well then that's like, for modern writing, it's poor. If you're trying to stay true to the original and that's why you're doing it from 20 plus years ago, I can forgive it more when it was a 1998 kids animated film versus in 2020 writing that in. So I'm like, but then at the same time, it has that feel of a vintage Disney cartoon in that way. So
yeah.
Oh, something we need to do?
Commercial break?
Yeah, we'll be right back.
And we're back. You are not Wukong.
Oh, come on. But Halloween. Okay.
I'm not making that costume.
Aw, but I want to see you all furry with a tail. I was going to be the Buddhist. Okay. All right.
Sexy Wukong, okay.
You have anything to say? I need a minute. Now, are we talking Donnie Yin Wukong, or where the bad guy from the first one becomes Wukong?
Yeah, that's a weird casting.
Yeah, let's talk about Monkey King. So forget Mulan. What's up with the fourth Monkey King movie? What are we doing here? IMDb has confused the hell out of us. All right,
no. When did you become the derailer?
I don't know.
Okay, again, we're taking
No,
this away.
baby needs his baba. You cannot take the chicky nuggies and chalky milk from Baby Yoda. The Frocky Frocks.
Okay.
Just spittled.
But now back to talking about the
Mulan.
witch.
Back to Mulan.
I am seriously going to have to start cutting you off.
Just think of how fun the Patreon Let's Play I'm about to record is going to be.
Anywho, going back to the witch, I think they're trying to do that whole, just because, your previous, basically someone, because I kind of see her as like being a generation removed from Mulan.
Oh, okay. The way. Okay, yeah. I'm with you.
So it's just like, I got treated this bad, which means, it's going to be the exact same thing for you. And so, you should just join my side and we'll just take everybody out.
Wipe everyone out, all of them.
So, of course, then Mulan goes, no, I'm going to be different. I'm going to do the right thing, even though it gets me killed, which I'm surprised in real life it didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I follow. Well, she's magical in this real life.
Yeah. Well, theoretically, she actually existed.
She's Goku in this real life.
But anyways, and so there's going to be like the, things can actually be different. Is the whole thing, that whole process
with the turn on the
witch.
Yeah, but it just doesn't seem too easy.
Yeah. In all honesty, I kind of want to see the version where Mulan goes, yeah, you're right. Let's do this. Teach me how to do that weird bird shit.
Phrasing? Teach me how to do that weird bird shit? Like, is that Mulan's revenge? Is like, she just flies around waiting for her enemies to look up with their mouths open? She's like, Alakazam, bitch!
I visualized.
I could tell. That's why I had to get more detail. Okay, all right. Well, anyway, so that was Furiosa has a baby with Evelyn, right? Because that's what was going on with the witch.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's like, ma'am, you're on the wrong movie sets. Masters of the Universe is over here. But the effects on the witch I thought were really good.
Yeah.
Like her transitions and stuff were really good.
And like the little touches, like where they did the bird claw prosthetics for her hands.
There was some really good design actually.
Yeah.
So again, I think that was really. I think the design in this whole film is fantastic. Although Mulan's village in the beginning of the movie, it feels fairly natural and feels like kind of feels like that old school kind of ancient Chinese kind of thing. But when they come back to it at the end, the way they light it and the costume design, you feel like you're at a Disney park attraction. Like everything got way brighter and just like light everywhere, and the colors were more popping on all the people that lived there. And it's like, oh, this is so they can have a place at Disney you can go like walk through the Mulan world, right? Like, did they film in the park?
Actually, I was here looking at those structures, that big round town, basically.
Yeah.
I'm sitting going like, was that a thing? I wonder if that was a thing, because that's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
But
Bring back some Star Wars there.
But yeah, actually, I'm sitting here going like, you have a budget when you go to the capital city and you see like all these different settings and all these elaborate costumes for like all of 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of it's CG, but still, that takes a lot of time, money, and rendering to build, even in CG. So yeah, you're right. You did feel the budget of this film.
Yeah.
In location and costumes. Did we feel it in the epic war scenes, now that you mention it? Because now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, considering the budget they had, it feels like it should have been bigger groups, maybe? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not within the context of the story.
Again, it was one contingent, and I'm not sure how big a contingent is supposed to be.
Okay, you're right. That's what I was thinking.
And then you have these nomadic tribes, which aren't exactly huge on their own. It's, even when you get a whole bunch of them together, it's still not exactly a whole lot.
Yeah, no, and again, like I said, now that I thought about it within the context of the story, you're right. It was never an opportunity for the Emperor to bring an entire, military together. They were getting picked off, essentially.
By the way, can I say how pleasantly surprised I was that the Emperor was actually a badass? Because you're so
Except that was the other moment. That was the other moment we were talking about, no spoilers, where we're like, he's a badass too?
Because you're sitting there going like, you're so used to the Emperor just being an old guy that sits on a throne, and here he goes out, it's like, nope, I'm gonna put on my armor and go like, oh, you guys are gonna do this? I'll throw it down, bam!
And then how cool was that trick too? We really liked when the ninja Mongols, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Mongols, fired all the ropes down around him, and you think they're missing.
Yeah.
But then it turns out, oh no, it was a trap to spin. Like that was really cool.
That was a nifty move. I really liked that.
Yeah, we both dug that. And the moment we were talking about no spoilers, where we both go, wait, he's a badass now, is when Cricket, in the middle of the battle, who's been a goof the whole time, does a spin move while whipping out 2 arrows and Hawkeyeing him into a bow and whip.
Behind his back.
Behind his back. Yeah. It's like, and we literally, that's when exactly the same words came out of our mouth. Wait, when did he become a badass? So
yeah.
It was cool, but it was fleeting. And then it's like, well, if you're going to give him that moment, either give him more of the moment or give each of the dudes a moment, because there's like 4 main dudes in her troop, right? And Cricket and the handsome one had shit to do. The other 2,
5, but 2 of them were so similar it was hard to tell them apart.
And not even just like, you're not even saying visually. They didn't give them anything to do. They didn't really give them much character compared to the others, which could screw up pace. So maybe I shouldn't complain.
In the original, Mulan had 3 buddies.
Okay.
And to those 3 buddies they added Cricket, which kind of co-opted the personality of one of the original 3, and then you put Shin. Is it Shin?
That sounds right.
Basically, the guy who
that could be wrong
was her commander in the original version that got demoted down to a fellow soldier in this version.
Okay.
So, but you had like the huge fat guy who was super, super nice and just wanted a wife who could cook. And then it had the short, burly guy who was like the little badass type.
Gimli.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. And then you had like the tall, skinny guy.
They should have killed more of them.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, as horrible as a sentiment as it kind of is, I did love the line, "I don't care how she look, I care how good she cook." I'm kind of paraphrasing it, but it's like, okay, that is actually a clever line, though. And I guess, in context, that's not always a bad thing, but
in
his context,
I guess if you're not doing the cooking, you want somebody who can.
Yeah, true. Although I like cooking.
Good. Just don't make me fat.
But I like to cook a lot. Well, luckily you don't like a lot of what I cook because it's always so damn spicy.
Yeah.
I like my heat. I go to restaurants. I'm like, y'all chef got any special hot sauce back there, And they're like, oh yeah, we can make you something up. She's a fan of hot sauce back there. And they have to come back out and be like, well, she has Carolina Reapers. I'm like, psh, bring it.
Anywho.
I had one they put some Carolina Reapers in their beer cheese and oh.
Anywho.
Now I'm getting hungry.
Anyway, back to the movie.
Is there anything else to talk about in the movie?
I'm trying to think about... Oh, I did make one observation, is that this entire movie must have taken... Or the between her leaving home and the big battle at the end must have been less than a month. Because hiding your breast is one thing. Hiding a period is something else entirely.
Yeah, she's got a point, especially as you were saying, in that era.
Yeah. There were no sanitary napkins back then.
Yeah. No, sir. Tis a scratch from battle practice. Battle practice.
Why do I smell blood?
I did like that she didn't shower for ages. That was kind of funny. And they had to tell her she stank.
Yeah.
And the stuff in the bed and the cots, I guess, her trying not to get groped in sleep. And then Cricket, I guess, was really adorable.
Yes.
Like, especially when the guy, arm comes over, he's like... And Donnie Wu was great. Yeah.
I'm trying to think about anything. Like, I really liked the addition of the witch.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I just wish there hadn't been... It was 30 minutes of trailers this time. And ads. I miss complaining about the theater part of going to these movies.
Well, the Fast and Furious movie next door was pretty loud.
Yeah. Yeah, we do need some thicker windows in this house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was the Cujo sequel we got later, because apparently the neighbors let their dogs out. Okay, I'm running my brain through. We already kind of gave a rating in the no spoiler. That's like, for the price and everything, if you're an uber curious maybe, but I think everybody who's like a big fan of the movie missed Make a Man Out of You or whatever, which is the training montage sequence. I know that song. And I can make you a man. He'll do sit-ups and pull-ups, and I don't know the rest of the words.
This is Sword of Damocles all over again.
I would know the words if they were on the screen. I at least know that song and the music. And Sword of Damocles I have since learned, because now I got the better soundtrack that has it on it. But yeah, now I want to knock another star off of my review for lack of Rocky Horror Picture Show songs. Oh my God, Donnie Yen busts out, and now I Can Make You a Man singing it to Mulan. He'd probably be really good at it too, dude. That dude's talented guy.
Oh, okay.
And on that note, I think that's a good place to leave it. Go ahead and comment below. This is the spoiler section. What'd you like? What'd you didn't like? Because that's good English. I do words good. No, baby, finish Baba. you take baby's Baba, you eat cranky baby. Cranky Baba, cranky baby. No, my juice. My juice. Yeah, comment away. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm living with this now.
Yeah. Sorry. The cats really love it though. All right, so comment, click the thumbs up button, give us that good old hum of encouragement if you want to. We do love to be encouraged. Check out the Patreon, $1 a month if you want. No worries, no pressure. Video every day, video game let's plays, food taste tests. I did spicy noodles the other day, like the spicy noodle challenge. I even got her to try it. Don't tell them what happened. Because you can't guess. Things like that, movie reviews, all that. So check that out by looking up TheEricButts, using the links in the description below. And I guess it doesn't matter anymore. He doesn't work there anymore. He retired. It just occurred to me, it's like you have one of the bottles that came from one of my dad's jobs. And I know it does say it on there, and you don't.
Tiny.
I know, but again, he's retired. It's all good. What else? Patreon thumbs. What are we watching next week?
I don't know. What are we watching next week?
I don't know what's out next week.
I have no idea.
We'll pick something.
You're the one who keeps up with all that crap.
Well, not like I used to, because it ain't happening like it used to. But let us know. You can give us suggestions. Maybe we'll check them out. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We got plenty of stuff to watch. Just a matter of what we will review. And I forgot this camera cuts off at half an hour. So, all right, we're going to get out of here. I can't believe it cut off and have just this little to say. We're going to get out of here so we can go watch some more stuff. We'll see you all later. Oh, you don't have to say it. See? Wait a minute.